Assassin's Creed Shadows is at one time one of the best Assassin's Creed games, and at the same time, in other aspects, one of the worst. It's a weird game, it's a really weird game. It's got a really good stealth mechanic, it's got good combat, it's got good world building and feel, and visually, it's one of the most striking games I've played. But on the other hand, it's got too much empty space on the open world. Even if it is beautiful, there are a bunch of things that you can't get to, like mountains and stuff that you have to fight to just walk up. It's got a story that happens in the first 5-6 hours and the last 5-6 hours. And everything else in between it is really trickling down. It's got maybe one of the worst told stories ever. It's really disjointed for the 60 hours, but still somehow I really still love the game. My name is Lux, and I wanted to talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows. I spent about 80 hours playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, and I've got to say I really loved it. It's got some of the best gameplay mechanics. The stealth mechanics, the new stealth mechanic thing, is actually the best stealth in the whole series. It's my favorite, and it really adds depth to the game. You being able to go prone, have low grass, high grass, be able to prone on top of a building, like on a roof, is really great. It really brings depth to the game. At the same time, there are a lot of things that I really don't like about the stealth. I still don't like the health mechanics, and I don't like instant assassination either, because the instant assassination makes it a bit too easy. You can just run up to enemies and just assassinate. I did that a lot at the beginning when I wanted to try it out, but without it on, it's really hard to kill even normal enemies at some point. Then the combat is really fun, but it does get a bit too spammy for my liking. I think the enemies have too much health. I think Ghost of Tsushima did it a lot better, that it felt like the swords actually hit something, you know? It didn't feel like spammy, but Assassin's Creed Shadows does feel a little bit spammy, at least as you play as Naoe. And I really didn't like the differences between Naoe and Yasuke. I think the idea is good. One is for combat, one is for stealth, but I think they went a bit too far with that. Naoe is a bit too not good at combat at the beginning, and Yasuke sucks at climbing and stealth. Like, actually, you can just shoot, you've got guns and bows, you can shoot and stealth that way, but I just don't think that feels like Assassin's Creed to me. I think Yasuke should have gotten a bit more stealth and been able to climb a bit more, and now I should have been able to battle a bit better. Then the story-wise, I really hated this game, almost. I think telling the story in the first 5 hours, then a few missions, like you've got like an hour or two of missions that actually progress the story and tell you something, and then everything else is at the rear end. I think that's really stupid. I think the way, because they made it so you can assassinate anyone you want from a circle, like 12 targets or something like that. I'm not quite sure how many targets there are, but you can assassinate them in what order you want. And I think that really fucked this game, because they couldn't tell. For the majority of the game, I didn't have a real progression feeling, you know? The characters really didn't progress at all during the story. They did drop some character building side quests here and there, but I don't think that's how you should do it. I think this Assassin's Creed Shadows has one of the worst stories in Assassin's Creed. I really like the characters, Naoe and Yasuke, and the world. Like, I really liked Japan as a setting, how it looked and how it played, but as a story, it really isn't good. If the gameplay wasn't so fun, I don't think I would have finished this. I really grew to love the gameplay of this, and that's how I got through it. It tries to tell smaller stories in segments. I don't think that fit. I really think we should have gotten a bit more of an overarching mission or storyline. like a backup storyline, and I didn't feel like I got one. The modern world story is non-existent here, really non-existent. I didn't even realize that there was a modern world story until quite the end, and I don't really like naoe not being aware of what the assassins are as an organization, you know? I think she should have known a bit more about them, because I feel like now it feels a bit cheap when she learns about the Hakushibaiki or whatever. I think she should have known a bit more about it for some of the things to make a bit more of an impact, at least for me. And Yasuke's story with the Templars was, well, it was there. I really like Yasuke as a character, but I just didn't find fun playing as him. Because if I wanted to climb building, something I love doing in Assassin's Creed games, I couldn't do it. Yasuke can't climb for shit. And the thing is, you might be thinking that I really hated this game because I'm talking about the negatives. But no, this is actually all just nitpicks, almost. Well, not nitpicks, but the thing is, I understand why people gave it an 8 out of 10, because if this game had a better story, if it was told better, it had more meat on the bones of it, and the world was designed a bit better, I think I would have loved it. Because I think right now, the story is really bare bones. The world is too large and open without anything in it. It really has a lot of empty space with just some bandit camps here and there. That's the reason why I really didn't like the new Zelda games. I really didn't like the open world without almost anything in it. It's not something I'll enjoy. But if they would have taken like 2 or 3 of these zones and made the towns and everything feel bigger, like the towns don't really feel towns, they're more villages than towns. They seem big at first, but then you realize they're just a few houses here and there, and I think it could have made this a lot better if they made them bigger. You can still do a map that takes as much time to go through, like from point A, from the other end of the map to the other end of the map, but you could have scaled it up, you know, and made it more concentrated and scaled it up to make it feel more alive. Because now it feels like Japan is just full of villages. I think there's one place that actually feels a bit like a city, like size-wise bigger than just a village with a castle in it, and I think that's like actually a bummer. And I hope that if we get DLC, we get a much more concentrated story, like linear. I think that if they would have done it like in 2s, like you can do these 2 assassination targets, and one was for Yasuke and one was for naoe, and they would have told the story that way. I think they could have done a lot better job at doing this, but now it feels disjointed and a bit uninteresting even. But yeah, the RPG mechanics of the games are there still, and they are okay. I've never been a huge fan of them, but I really like the setting and the way Assassin's Creed does things. So I can't really say are they good or bad. I'm not a huge fan of them, but I don't hate them like some people do either. But yeah, I think Assassin's Creed Shadows is a weird ass game, because there's so much good in it. There's so much bad shit there too. And most of the bad shit is actually story-wise, and pacing-wise, and world-wise. But gameplay-wise and looks-wise, it's one of the best Assassin's Creed games. I do have my nitpicks based on the gameplay. Like, of course I have. Like I said, I really think Yasuke should have been able to climb a lot more and should have been able to use the sword to assassinate someone without having to fucking yell at them. I think that's just stupid game design, in my opinion. I didn't enjoy that. And I think naoe should have had a bit more oomph to her hits. I don't mind a character that is a glass cannon, but naoe is really not a glass cannon, she's just glass until you get a lot of the better engravings. But I don't think you should have to have some really good gear for the game to feel good to play, you know? The combat for the first 20 hours as naoe really did not feel good. so I tried to avoid it as much as I could. And I played most of the game through as naoe because I just didn't like Yasuke just being so slow and not being able to move or climb. I think that just was a huge minus in my opinion, not being able to climb. Because that's what I love the most about Assassin's Creed. I love the stealth mechanics. For the first time, Assassin's Creed feels like a real stealth game, you know? But yeah, enough about that. I think Assassin's Creed Shadows is an 8 out of 10. I think gameplay wise and everything like that, if they just take this story away and put like DLC story that's really good, that you can start from the beginning and that tells a bit more of a concise story and linearly, that you can actually tell a story that isn't concentrated, like 40% of the story is in the beginning and 40 at the end. The other 20% is sprinkled throughout like 50 hours of the game. At least for me, it was about that. But I am a bit of a completionist when it comes to these games. I'm not a completionist. I don't do everything. I try to do every side quest and try to max out my characters, get to max level. I try not to leave anything in the world that could give me more about it. But yeah, that's all I had to say actually. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.